I moved into a new neighborhood about 3 months ago. Pinewood Estates. Sounds nice, right? Quiet streets, suburban charm, perfect for someone like my late 20s, working my way up at a corporate job, ready to settle down and maybe start a family one day. I thought it'd be peaceful, relaxing. Little did I know, my peace was about to be shattered by my next-door neighbor. And I'm not talking about some noisy dog or kids running around. I'm talking about the guy who lives in the house next to me, Jason Carter. Now, before I go into all of it, you need to know something. I work hard for everything I have. Corporate life isn't easy. It's late nights, early mornings, and dealing with clients who can sometimes feel like they're a world away from reality. But you get used to it. You push through, because in the end, it pays off. Or so I thought. Jason, well, he's different. 22 years old, lives with his mom, and the guy has zero ambition. He's not in school, doesn't work, but somehow he manages to make it seem like everyone else is the problem. I just finished a long shift at the office, 14-hour day suit still on, tie loosened, and I walked out to grab my mail. Nothing out of the ordinary. Bills, junk, the usual. That's when I heard him. Hey, man, you got a minute? I turned around and saw Jason waddling over toward me. He's probably about 5 feet 10 inches, decent build, but it's all covered by an oversized t-shirt and basketball shorts, the kind that's seen better days. But whatever, I've learned to mind my business. Yeah, what's up? I asked, still trying to keep my distance, wondering where this was going. And then he hit me with it. I need money, he said, like it was the most normal thing in the world. PlayStation just dropped a new game, and I need $400. You've got the money, right? I mean, you're always dressed up in that fancy suit. You probably make a ton. I'm standing there, processing it for a second. Is this kid serious? I can't even laugh at how ridiculous it sounded. No, I said flatly. That's not how this works. Get a job if you want money. His face twisted, like he'd just been told he couldn't breathe. Shock and anger flickered in his eyes. But then, with all the confidence of someone who's never heard the word no, he said, "You don't get it. I'm an influencer. I'm building my brand. Gaming's the future, and I'm not about to miss out on this." I couldn't help myself. I laughed. Not a polite chuckle, but a real, bewildered laugh. "How many subscribers do you have?" I asked, genuinely curious. 37. He shot back, like that was a huge number. But the algorithm's rigged against creators like me. I'm just getting started. 37 subscribers. I had more people at my high school graduation, and half of them were there to see someone else. "Listen, man," I said, walking away. "I'm not your personal ATM. Good luck with your influencer thing." But here's where things took a turn I didn't expect. Jason wasn't done. The next morning, I walked out to my car, ready for another grind of a day at work. And what do I find? Someone had written "cheap ass" on my windshield in ketchup. It was a masterpiece of lazy vandalism, the kind that screamed immaturity. I scrubbed it off, cursing under my breath because it made me late for a meeting, and as I wiped it clean, I saw Jason's face peeking through the blinds from his window, watching me clean up his mess. That's when I realized this wasn't just a simple, "give me money" request anymore. This kid was about to make my life miserable, but I wasn't going to let it slide. A couple days later, I got home from work. Another exhausting day, my brain fried from spreadsheets and client calls. All I wanted was to sit down, eat some takeout, and binge Netflix for a few hours. I barely got through the door when the doorbell rang. Once, twice, 3 times. A continuous loop, like someone was trying to break the button off. I opened the door, and standing there, holding what looked like a handmade invoice, was Jason. "I'm here to collect," he said, as if he were some debt collector. This is invoice the one emotional distress for public humiliation. He wasn't even trying to hide the ridiculousness. He was waving the thing around, and I just stared at it. Written in crayon. "Are you serious?" I asked. "This is harassment." He shrugged. "Look, man, my mom says you corporate types understand paperwork. Just pay it, and we can move on." "Your mom knows about this?" I asked. "Yeah," he said, totally unfazed. She knows I'm exploring entrepreneurial opportunities. I couldn't even begin to process this. This was his idea of business? He was trying to extort me over a PlayStation game and some childish vendetta. I told him to get lost, but Jason was relentless. And then came the phone call from his mom, Glenda. She claimed I was bullying her son, accusing me of taking advantage of him because he was vulnerable. I mean, really? Vulnerable? This kid was actively stalking me, trying to get money out of me, and his mom was backing him up. I laid it out for Glenda. Your son is 20. He's not a kid. He's harassing me. But she didn't care. She went on about community values, the importance of helping each other out. It felt like I was in some twisted version of a soap opera. It wasn't just the demands anymore. It was everything: the stalking, the fake invoices, the ridiculous phone calls. So I decided to fight back. I started documenting everything. The fake invoices, the threats, everything. I talked to the neighbors, and turns out, I wasn't the only one he'd targeted. People had been giving in for years, either out of guilt or just to keep the peace. But this time, I wasn't giving in. I went public, started a neighborhood chat, talked to the local news, contacted the police. It was time for Jason and his mom to see that they were messing with the wrong guy. And when Jason came to my door again, this time filming me, I knew it was all coming to a head. He tried to threaten me again, but this time I was ready. I had all the evidence. I told him, "You want to play games? Fine. But you're going to learn how this ends." The next few days were a blur of action. I took all the documentation, photos, recordings, testimonies from neighbors, and I sent it out. To the police, to the local news. It wasn't just about defending myself anymore. It was about showing everyone what Jason and his mom had been doing to manipulate the whole neighborhood. When it hit the news, Glenda and Jason couldn't run fast enough. The whole neighborhood saw what they'd been doing. The fake invoices, the stalking, the threats. They had nowhere to hide. And then, a few weeks later, the moving truck pulled up outside their house. They were gone. Just like that. The whole neighborhood had turned against them. And for the first time since I moved to Pinewood Estates, I didn't feel like an outsider. I felt like I was part of the community. So, yeah, it ended with them packing up and leaving. And as much as I wanted to rub it in their faces, I didn't. I just stood there, watching them go, knowing I'd won. Not with violence or aggression, but with patience, strategy, and a little bit of community spirit. If you've ever had to stand up to bullies in your neighborhood or at work, or anywhere, let me know in the comments. Share your stories, your experiences. Because in the end, sometimes the best way to win is by refusing to back down.